Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I will demonstrate how to draft, cut and sew this simple blouse with a bateau neckline and open tie sleeves. Hi, my name is Ayo and welcome to 011 Clothings Tutorials. On this channel, I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you! I'll be working with the following items: tape measure, pins, a pair of fabric scissors, a pair of paper scissors. Ideally, a pencil should be used to draft a pattern, but for tutorial purpose I'll be using this marker pen, calculator, rulers and curves, 2 yards of crepe fabric, pattern paper. I'll be working with the following measurements: shoulder to shoulder 16 inches, bust circumference 39 inches, waist circumference 34 inches, hip circumference 41 inches, shoulder to waistline 15 inches, around elbow measurement 13 inches, sleeve length 13 inches, blouse length 25 inches. So I have here this pattern paper which I've already laid out on the table. I have drawn a margin of 2 inches at the top and also on the left hand side of the pattern paper. I will now go ahead and draw a rectangular box that will contain both the front and the back patterns. This is because the front and the back patterns will be drafted within this rectangular box. To know the width of the rectangular box, I will look for the largest circumference between the bust, the waist and the hip circumference measurements. And in this case, it is the hip circumference measurement, which is 41 inches. Next, I will calculate the hip circumference divided by 2 plus 3 inches for ease, and this is 41 divided by 2 plus 3 inches, and this is equal to 23.5 inches. I will go ahead to measure and mark 23.5 inches like this. I will draw a vertical line downwards. The length of the rectangular box is the blouse length, which is 25 inches. So I will measure and mark 25 inches from the upper starting line downwards, like this. I will draw a horizontal line across, thus completing the rectangle. I will divide the rectangle into 2 equal halves vertically, like this. This side will be the center back, while this other side will be the center front. For the back shoulder line, I will measure and mark 1 inch downwards from the upper starting line. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the back shoulder line. For the front shoulder line, I will measure and mark 1.5 inches downwards from the upper starting line. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the front shoulder line. For the armhole depth, calculate the bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches for ease. This is 39 divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and this is equal to 8 inches. From the back shoulder line, I will go ahead to measure and mark 8 inches downwards like this. The armhole depth from the upper starting line is 9 inches. So at the center front, I will measure and mark 9 inches downwards from the upper starting line. I will draw a horizontal line across to the center back and to the center front. This line is the armhole line. The shoulder to waistline measurement is 15 inches. So from the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 15 inches downwards like this. I will draw a horizontal line across. This line is the waistline. For the back neckline, I will use a value of 3 inches by 1 inch. Using my French curve, I will draw the back neckline curve like this. For the front neckline, I will use a value of 3 inches by 3 inches. Using my French curve, I will go ahead to draw the front neckline curve like this. Next, I will divide the shoulder to shoulder measurement by 2. This is 16 inches divided by 2 and this is equal to 8 inches. On the back shoulder line, I will measure and mark 8 inches starting from the center back. I will also measure and mark 8 inches on the front shoulder line starting from the center front. I will connect these 2 points together to give me the slanted shoulder line for the front pattern. I will also connect these 2 points together to give me the slanted shoulder line for the back pattern. Also on the armhole line, I will measure and mark 8 inches starting from the center back and also the center front. I will connect these points together with broken lines like this. Next, I will calculate the bust circumference plus 4 inches for ease divided by 4. This is 39 plus 4 divided by 4 and this is equal to 10.75 inches. On the armhole line, I will measure and mark 10.75 inches like this, starting from the center back and also the center front. On the back pattern, I will locate and mark the middle point on the broken line. From the middle point, I will go in by half an inch. I will connect these 2 points together like this with my ruler. I will also connect these 2 lower points together with my French curve like this. And I have created the armhole curve for the back pattern. On the front pattern, on the broken line, I will measure and mark 3 inches upwards from the armhole line. From this 3-inch point, I will go in by 3/4 of an inch. I will connect these 2 points together like this with my ruler. I will also connect these 2 lower points together with my French curve like this. And I have created the armhole curve for the front pattern. Next, I will calculate the waist circumference plus 4 inches for ease divided by 4. This is 34 plus 4 divided by 4 and this is equal to 9.5 inches. On the waistline, starting from the center back and the center front, I will measure and mark 9.5 inches. This is the hem of the blouse and also the hip line in this case. I will calculate the hip circumference plus 4 inches for ease divided by 4. This is 41 plus 4 divided by 4 and this is equal to 11.25 inches. On the hem line, which is also the hip line in this case, I will measure and mark 11.25 inches starting from the center back and also the center front. I will connect these points together to give me the side seams of the back and the front patterns. At the side seams, I will go up by 1 inch from the hem on both the back and the front patterns. Then I will come down by 1 inch from the hem at the center back and at the center front. I will draw out a short horizontal line like this and then I will curve the hem of the pattern for both the back and the front patterns. Next, I will alter the basic necklines for both the back and the front pattern. For the back pattern, I will use a value of 3.5 inches for the back neck depth. I will now make the back shoulder length 2 inches long from the shoulder hip. I will draw a new neckline curve for the back pattern. This is a Bateau or a Kano neckline. For the front neck depth, I will use a value of 3.5 inches. I'll make the front shoulder length 2 inches long from the shoulder tip. I will draw a new front neckline. This is a Bateau or a Kano neckline. I will cut out the back and the front patterns like this. Next, I will draft a basic sleeve pattern. On this pattern paper, I will draw a margin of about 2 inches from the top edge of the paper. I will also draw another margin about 1 inch from the left edge of the pattern paper. The sleeve length that I'm working with is 13 inches. So I will measure and mark 13 inches downwards like this from the upper starting line. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the hem of the sleeve pattern. Next, I will calculate the cap height using the formula bust circumference divided by 12 plus 1.5. This is 39 divided by 12 plus 1.5, and this is equal to 4.75 inches. From the upper starting line, I will measure and mark 4.75 inches. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the cap height line. Next, I will calculate the armhole depth value using the formula bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. This is 39 divided by 6 plus 1.5, and this is equal to 8 inches. On the cap height line, I will measure and mark 8 inches like this. I will connect these 2 points together like this with my ruler, giving me a diagonal line. I will divide the diagonal line into 4 equal sections like this. From the first middle point, I will go up by half an inch. From the second middle point, I will come down by half an inch. I will now use these half-inch points as a guide to draw the curve of the sleeve edge. The exact value of the cap height line, which is 8 inches, I will transfer it to the hem of the sleeve pattern. I will connect the points together to give me the side seam of the sleeve pattern. Next, I will measure and mark 2 inches above the hem for the band at the hem of the sleeve. I will draw a horizontal line across. This is the band. The sleeve ends at the elbow. The around elbow measurement is 13 inches. So I will divide the around elbow measurement by 2, and this is 13 inches divided by 2. And this is equal to 6.5 inches. From the side seam, I will measure and mark 6.5 inches like this at the hem. I will draw a vertical line, a short vertical line like this. This shaded part will be trimmed off and is no longer part of the sleeve pattern. This side will be open and it should not be cut on fold. I will cut out the sleeve pattern. These are the front and the back patterns. I will use facings to finish the front and the back necklines. So I will draw out the outlines of the facing at the necklines of the front and the back patterns. The facing is 2 inches long. I will trace out the back and the front facing to another pattern paper like this. I will cut out the neckline facings. These are all the pattern pieces needed to make the blouse. I will go ahead and cut them out on my fabric. I have gone ahead to pin the front and the back pattern pieces on my fabric, and the fabric has been folded into 2 layers. I used half an inch seam allowance all around the patterns except for the side seams and the hem where I used 1 inch seam allowance. The front and the back pieces will be cut on fold. I will cut them out. I have pinned the sleeve pattern to the fabric. I used half an inch seam allowance at the sleeve head and at the hem, 1 inch seam allowance at the middle of the sleeve that will be open, and 1 inch seam allowance at the side seam. The fabric has been folded into 4 layers. I will cut out the sleeve. This is the band that will be at the hem of the sleeve. I have pinned it to the fabric. The band will be cut on fold at this side and it will also be cut on fold at the upper part. I have folded the fabric into 4 layers. I have added half an inch seam at the lower part of the band. I will extend the band by 20 inches to create the tie that extends beyond the sleeve band. I slanted the end of the tie diagonally like this. I will cut it out. This is just one of the band pieces. I will go ahead and cut out another band piece for the second sleeve of the blouse. These are the 2 band pieces. I have gone ahead to cut out the second band piece. Also, I have fused interfacing to the wrong sides of the band, the area where the actual band ends, not the area that was extended for the tie. These are the front and the back facing pieces which I have gone ahead to cut them out on my fabric. The center back and front of the facing pieces were cut on fold. I have fused interfacing to the wrong sides of the facing pieces. What I will do now is to go ahead and overlock the lower part of the facing pieces. I have gone ahead to overlock the hem of the facing pieces. This is the back piece. I will remove the pattern from the fabric like this. I will pin the back neckline facing to the back neckline like this, right side to right side. After pinning, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using half an inch sewing allowance. I will do the same thing for the front piece as well. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. After stitching, I notched the seam allowance at the neckline and then I understitched the seam allowance to the neckline of the facing. I did the same thing for this other blouse piece as well. I will place the 2 pieces together like this, right side to right side. I will open up the shoulders like this so that the main fabric are together and the facing pieces are together. I will pin them in place, making sure that the seam lines match up. After pinning, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using half an inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've overlocked the raw edges. Next, I will sew the side seams together using the French stitching technique. With the wrong sides together, I will sew the side seams in place using half an inch sewing allowance. So the stitching has been done, as you can see. I will reduce the half inch seam allowance to about 1/4 inch seam allowance. I will turn the garments to the wrong side. I will now sew the side seams again the second time using the remaining half inch sewing allowance. Recall that 1 inch seam allowance was added at the side seam when cutting out the fabric. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've given the garment a thorough press with my iron. I have also gone ahead to hem the lower part of the blouse. This is the sleeve and this is the band with the tie. I cut 4 sleeve pieces. This side of the sleeve will be open. I will go ahead and hem this side on the 4 sleeve pieces. These are the 2 band pieces. I have already notched the points where the actual band ends before the tie at the ends. I will fold the band into 2 right sides together. I will go ahead and sew it in place like this using half an inch sewing allowance. So the stitching has been done. I have hemmed the middle part of the sleeve that will be open on the 4 sleeve pieces. I have also sewn the tie part of the sleeve band in place, as you can see. I left the middle part open. This middle open part will be sewn to the hem of the sleeve. I will reduce the fabric bulk at the ends of the ties like this. Then I will turn the band pieces to the right side using this long screwdriver. These are the 4 sleeve pieces. I will pick 2 pieces each. With the wrong sides together, I will go ahead and sew the side seams together using the French stitching technique. So now that has been done, as you can see, I have sewn the side seams of the sleeves in place using the French stitching technique. I have also gathered the hem of the sleeve. These are the 2 band pieces. I have already given the 2 band pieces a thorough press with my pressing iron. I will now place the main sleeve on top of the band piece like this, right side to right side. I will spread out and arrange the sleeve gathers very well. I will make sure that the length of the gathered hem of the sleeve matches up with the length of the band, the side that was not sewn. I will pin it in place. After pinning, I will take the sleeve to my sewing machine and I will sew it in place using half an inch sewing allowance. I will do the same thing on the other sleeve as well. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've overlocked the raw edges. This is the main bodice of the blouse. I will go ahead and fix the sleeves to the armholes of the blouse using half an inch sewing allowance. Just sew it normally, right side to right side. There is no need for any French stitching because the fabric is not transparent. You can overlock the edges after sewing so as to finish off the blouse nicely. So now that has been done, as you can see, this facing at the neckline will be tagged carefully to the neckline of the blouse. So now we are done, and this is the final look of the simple loose fitting blouse with a bateau neckline and open tie sleeves. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, share this video with your friends who are interested in sewing, and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. See you in my next tutorial. Bye, and thank you so much for watching.